What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Now, today on the table in front of us is a Bestech knife. This is the Bestech Ascot. And, it is just a really nice, straightforward pocket knife. And that's cool. I really have enjoyed having this thing around. And this came to the house by way of the pass-around group, the Apex pass-around group, and I am grateful for that. It is carbon fiber on steel liners. It is D2. It is just a really excellent, and I said this a minute ago, straightforward pocket knife. Now, why do I keep saying that? Well, it's not trying to be anything more than what it is. It's a nice big knife. It is very comfortable in hand because of the way the carbon fiber has been milled and shaped. It is put together well. It's just a great, it's just a surprisingly nice pocket knife. Now, they're about $80. And again, as I said, for that, you get D2. It is running on bearings. The steel on the inside here is not milled out. And that means that, sometimes you got to use a little light to see. It is a little weighty, but I really like it. Now, Bestech has done a knife similar to this in the Swordfish that I really, really like. Bestech is really good at this kind of just straightforward pocket knife. And I really, when I first saw it, I was kind of like, But then I carried it, and it is just really good at what it does. So let's get some basic measurements out of the way here. If we put the tip up here, we've got 1, 2, 3, and about 3/4 inches of cutting area on 4 inches of D2. The overall knife is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3/4 inches long. Man, that's a nice, beautiful blade, isn't it? There is no billboarding, no markings at all on this knife that say Bestech. It's really interesting. I love the anode blue pivot collars on both sides. I think these are a really nice touch. They are the only pop of color on the knife. It has a G10 backspacer with a lanyard hole. In my big old meat hook of a hand, you've got tons of space down at the base of the handle. It is really good for choking up on this way if you're going to do some fine work and draw cuts, and I have. It is really good for push cuts because there is nothing in the way of the cutting path at all, which is very, very nice. It has a reasonably thin edge. This is not a razor blade, although it did come very, very sharp. They start with relatively thick stock, and because it is a short blade, it doesn't have a lot of room to get down to a very, very fine, fine edge. But it is a really good working edge. It has a nice, robust tip, and you guys know what that means. If you're going to, underhand grip for whatever reason, stab, stab, stab. This is a really good knife for that. It's very, very well built. Access to the lock bar is not impeded at all. It's got a nice cutout on this side, and so your thumb slides over. It just drops shut with a little wiggle. It came to us, as I said, from the pass-around group, and the blade is just a hair over here to the clip side. But I haven't done anything to this, and I don't know how many hands it's been in before it got to mine. It doesn't interfere at all with the function or the use, but just something I noticed. Let's do a size comparison up against our old friend, because I think this is a very, very similar size knife. This, of course, is the Rat Model 1, and they are within a 1/16 of an inch of the same length, but you get so much more blade on the Ascot. You really do. And look, even though I'm a little D2'd out, I'm going to pick D2 over AUS-8 anytime. I also think that this is a considerably more elegant looking knife. Here it is against our old friend, the Rat Model 2. Obviously considerably bigger. If you're looking for just a really well-made pocket knife in good materials, you cannot go wrong with this. And Bestech does such good work. They really, really do. The carbon fiber on this is beautiful. And this is not carbon fiber over G10. This is just straight up carbon fiber, which is really very nice. I don't know if you're catching some of that in the light. It's beautiful. The simple design means that it fits my hand and anyone's hand. In a recent review, Women Carry Knives noted that it fit very well in her hand, even though she had a lot more knife sticking out the back. And that's because they haven't tried to do anything too complicated or tricksy with the handle. It's just built to be held, and for that, it is really very good. Now, this pocket clip, which is just stamped steel, is not deep carry by any stretch of the imagination, and in fact, you get about a ½ inch or more knife sticking up out of your pocket. That is kind of a bummer. I think they could have done considerably more with that. But the advantage is that the way this is shaped, there's zero hot spot, at least for me. Now, I can feel it back there a little bit. It doesn't disappear by any stretch of the imagination. But because of the way it's shaped, it doesn't dig into my palm. It's really very good. It really is. It is not reversible. This is tip-up right-hand carry only. No lefty love again. And that's kind of a bummer. You know, they could have put a couple of holes here. I mean, it shares one of the screws that hold the backspacer in place back here. They could have just dropped a little cutout here and put a separate hole there. And then you could have rotated the clip, no problem at all. I wish they do stuff like that. I'm not a lefty, but I know a number of people who are, and they do feel left out often, actually, by knife manufacturers. I haven't had it apart, so I can't tell you how well it's put together. As this is part of the pass-around group, I'm not going to do that. But my experience with previous Bestechs tells me that it's very good. They just don't really mess around. I wish that they had milled it, the steel liners a little bit to save some weight. I think that would have been a very nice touch, because it's a beefy knife for sure. There are no sharp edges, which is really very nice. The steel liners are chamfered. Everything is rounded and rolled. The pocket clip, which has edges, but they've been tumbled, I'm guessing, because even those are very, very smooth. There's only one sharp edge. There's two. It's a little sharp up here by the flat on along the spine, which means if you wanted to, you could probably do a Firestone with this. Yeah, you could. But really, the only sharp edge on the knife that you have to worry about is right here along the blade, which is right where it belongs. That's a really nice touch. Is it worth $80 or so? Well, yeah, I think so. I think that the fit and finish on this thing is really, really well done. I think that, well, I think they've done a Bestech worthy job here. And so, yeah, I think that if you're looking for a straightforward, traditionally shaped pocket knife in excellent quality materials that's put together very well, I think that you will not go wrong with the Bestech Ascot. Would I add it to my collection? Well, you know, probably not. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but just because I'm not really collecting D2 knives right now. I take that back. I've picked up a couple, but I tend to lean into the more heavily budget stuff, Ganzos and stuff like that for my D2. I guess I'm going to wrap this up. I know this is... It's interesting because it's just such a knife. There's not much to it, and I think that's part of its elegant charm. I really do. Again, if you're looking for a knife for yourself or for someone else, particularly the holiday seasons are upon us, that is in good materials, and I've said this like 4 times now. Sorry, I'm repeating myself, but it is really well made. I think the Bestech Ascot is a great option. I really do. Well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about the Bestech Ascot or any knives you've ever seen on my channel, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Please like the video on your way out. It does help the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I would love to have you here on a regular basis. We'll see you next time.